Alrighty, we are live. Put on the YouTube chat, and then we can get started. Today I took a loss. Oops. I didn't even turn on the live on damn TikTok. Alright, here we go. Okay. We're for the people to join on TikTok first, and then we'll talk about the loss I took. All the way up, almost to these Asian highs. Not quite. We didn't quite take out the Asian high. Oh, actually, that was the SMT. Took out the Asian high here, and then did not on NQ. So basically, I took a loss today because all day it was given S&T, like first ES, when I got on the chart, ES was down here, not at this NY, but then NQ was already higher, so that was going to be S&T. Like we come up here, we reverse out of this fair value gap, which is what I wanted, and then NQ did not, and ES wouldn't follow. But they both wound up running up all day, and then you finally got S&T at the end in the afternoon where ES takes out these Asian highs, and NQ does not. So I was just wrong. But the entry was, and I was holding on to my bias of reversing. So I took a loss because I would have been, it honestly would have been a no trade today, but I definitely tried to turtle soup, which was we swept this high here, yesterday's high, which is a valid high to turtle soup off of, and then didn't wait for the change in state delivery, didn't wait for the market structure shift like I should have, or the inverse for value gap, bouncing the gap, and we continue higher. So I don't turtle soup. This is why you always wait for your confirmation and change in state delivery, because I just wouldn't have had a trade today. This is a silver bullet strategy though. Find a fair value gap between 10 and 11, take it in the direction. So tonight, that's what I'm gonna backtest. I'm gonna backtest ICT silver bullet. We haven't backtested it ever on here, so let's just see. And it wound up going to this 15-minute liquidity point up here. Actually, that might be this one. Yeah, they both swept this Asian high. Sorry, this. Did we sweep it? Yeah, we swept it. But it has to be. Yeah, but NQ swept this one, not just that one. This was the one that swept for the first TP. So that's a silver bullet strategy. If you want it, take it for value gap. I do the 3-minute again because on the 5-minute, your entry is not going to be as good. It's going to be later. But that was the original. It was wait for a fair value gap on the 5-minute. And then your entry up would have been, boom. Boom. And then if you did on the 1-minute, you got like inverses on this part to reverse to the downside versus just waiting for your original trade. See, on the 1-minute, you do get a better entry on the buy side to go higher, but see a lot of inverses to go lower to fake you out. I mean, if you wanted to trade down, it didn't take out a liquidity point, but it went back into this gap. So yeah, that was unfortunate. This is why you don't. I was holding on to my bias so strong, which is what I do when I start to get funded and stuff. I start to get like overconfident and not follow my rules and waiting for whatever, and just taking dumbass trades like that. Like a turtle soup was a YOLO trade, and it's fine. The stop loss was pretty tight anyway, so I didn't lose that much money. So I'm not tripping on it. All right, let's go and backtest the silver bullet. So since I'm doing the 3-minute entry, I'm gonna do the 15-minute for, see, so the silver bullet, it's a lot of things people say. People say you can really just mark out buy side, wait for a reversal. Some people just say wait for a fair value gap entry. So I think pairing 15-minute fair value gaps with 3-minute fair value gaps is the best. So basically, on this one, I was backtesting this after this morning after I lost. We have a 15-minute fair value gap here, and we have all these equal highs here that got swept at 10 a.m. Love. Then you do get a nice fair value gap here on the 3-minute to enter off of. Take it for a 1 to 2. That was the trade. You wait for that. It came down. Boom. So let's see how good this actually works. Let's go to the next New York session. I was also seeing what the EMA cross would look like. It's the worst. So anyone who trades EMA cross, I feel like it's a little chaotic. You know I like mine just a regular 15. I go next New York session. Cause you need your higher time frame to see what, you don't just want to blindly take fair value gaps, but some people do. I did it for a little bit, honestly. You let it play out until right before 10 o'clock. Boom. Okay. Looks like we bounced out of this 15-minute gap here to go higher. We do have liquidity here if you want to wait for that sweep. I want to zoom out in the 15-minute and see if we get something else. Not really. Let's see how this plays out. Boom. Reversed. Okay. So, there was no other liquidity to go higher to, so I had a feeling we were going to reverse. See, that's why you have to have some higher time frame buys, because if you just waited for it to tap into this green fair value gap for buys, you would have lost. You see what I'm saying? But this is the first fair value gap after your liquidity point, and then you could take it to your next one. Quick, beautiful, 1 to 2. And that's what you want. That's what you want. This is a reply not live, right? You paper trade. No, this is back testing. It says on the title of my live. This is a back testing session. I do this every night. I'm up 90K more year-to-date returns, no cap. Check me out. Good for you. Good for you, up 90K this year. Do you have an open trade? Do you have a trade? No, this is a back testing session. Do you do this for a living? Yes, I trade for a living full time. And make content. But yeah, this is all I do. All day, every day. This is a reply, not a paper trade. Yeah, okay, boom. So this is what you want to back test. There is a nice, what you call it for this? A nice indicator on TradingView for this. This is all you trade. For value gap, liquidity sweep for value gap, that's the trade. Now some days it's just like today where it's just a fair value gap. So I wait for the close out of it usually. But let's go to the next one. And you don't need to look at S&T or anything for this. All right, on the 15-minute. Some people just do it like this too. They just do like, I don't think that's high enough for me. And they wait for a sweep and then take it to the other side. I like this one better though. Okay, you got market structure shift. This is how they do it now. Market structure shift with the fair value gap. I don't know if this is gonna hold though, because actually we did tap into this fair value gap here on the 15-minute. I need some higher time frame. We did tap in the 15-minute fair value gap. hate when it does this. Bounce out of it. You got your market structure shift. I mean, actually, we did not. It did not candle close above this. You need a candle close above that line, actually. So, and then there's this big one here. This bearish one. But yeah, you need a candle close above this. But let's see how it plays out. Exactly. See how you have to need a candle close? Don't enter the fair value gap unless you get a candle close. See, my thinking was I didn't think we were going higher because of the 15-minute time frame. We did bounce off this gap, but like we've already been trading up here for a while. We got our power of 3. We swept these London highs, and we have all this to rebalance on the 15-minute chart. So that's why it's not just like, oh, liquidity reversal. It's not that simple. Now, you do this nice 3-minute gap here, this bearish one. That's the one I was looking at. Candle close out of it is kind of far, sadly. And then just take a 1 to 2. You don't get greedy on this strategy. It's just a 1 to 2. Or 1 to 1.5, whatever you prefer. Let's see if we get it. Could be wrong now. Could be wrong. There also is a gap down here and here. And that one's a loss, so it is what it is. This is why I'm like, I don't just trade silver bullet. I like trading at 10 a.m., yes, but trading just silver bullet, it's a lot. It'd just be a lot going on. Next New York session. Okay, so we got 1 win, 1 loss. Next New York session. Do you target London session liquidity pre-new 4-hour candle? Yeah, when I trade the 4-hour chart. And it depends on, it's not just London, it just depends on what the chart looks like. Like, I honestly thought we were just going to sweep these these previous day highs in reverse. And then we didn't. We just kept running all day. So today just would have been a day for me to not trade. I probably wouldn't have took that buy trade, honestly. I would have just not traded. Obviously, I took a turtle soup like an idiot, trying to show off. But I never got my confirmation for sales. So, but yeah, once we got up here, we were in this fair value gap, in this inverse fair value gap. I thought we were finally going to reverse up here to go down, take out these London lows, which is the trade I wanted. That I didn't get. So that's how I trade. I do still trade at 10 a.m., but I look at higher time frame. I wish I could have saw maybe an inverse on the 1 hour, but I didn't. And this is one of those days I was talking about how, like, you'll get SMT, like, we had it all day, but we didn't. Like, they both just eventually want to keep going higher. And how would you avoid not getting in a trade that way? You wait, you confirm your change in the state delivery, which I did not do. I just got in on the turtle soup, being greedy. 10 o'clock. Yeah, so we did inverse at 9 on that 1 hour. So that maybe would have been my sign to maybe just play at 10 o'clock to here. But I was sitting on the 4 hour instead of the 1 hour today. So maybe tomorrow I'll sit on the 1 hour instead of the 4. Because, yeah, once we inverse this gap here, so we inversed it at 6 o'clock here, so that had been our sign to maybe go higher. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. Because I wouldn't have took the trade. Like I said, I didn't get a reversal. I just traded a turtle soup after yesterday's high. I needed this candle to get inverse, this fair value gap, and it didn't. And that's on me, you know what I'm saying? But some people took this trade, this buy trade, so. It is what it is. If you got it at 9:30 though and caught the bottom into this fair value gap, liquidity sweep fair value gap to the upside, that's good. And then I was waiting for it to reverse out of here, it did not, boom. And this I'm talking about, the only time I trade trend lines is like this, where it's like trading very shittily in a fair value gap. That's the only time I do a trend line, like once we break buys. Instead of like, cause this is not really giving you, we want to go up either for real. Like this one just came in and gone out. It's been like trading in this gap for like 30 minutes. So that's the only time I really use trend lines like that. Usually after news, when it's news, it's a big fat ass fair value gap that like it'll take forever to close out of on the downside. I'll usually do a trend line on both sides or some shit. But yeah, and I only take one trade a day. So obviously once I saw it's closing out, I would have took the buy trade if I didn't take the first trade. Same thing. That's why you set your rules, because then when you take one trade a day, you realize no, don't take those stupid ass turtle soup trades unless you're like, I mean you can take them because they're gonna hit eventually, but to me it's like I'd rather just wait for the changes to delivery than get like the risk to reward, even though I didn't risk that much. So okay, 10 to 11. The 15-minute, what do we have? We have equal highs here. We have London lows here with the fair value gap. Let's see how this plays out. We already came out of it once. Let's see what 10 o'clock shows. Alright, came into this gap with the Wikiana. There's an inverse here. Maybe you'll get it. Or it bounces off of it again. Let's see. Boom. Continued lower. Alright, so at this point at 10 o'clock, we're going here. So I would have just gotten in maybe at 10 o'clock. Let's see how that plays out. Stop loss below above this high. See if it goes this low. Could be a loss. 1 to 2.6. Boom, got it. Okay, so you already need higher time frame bias, but you know you have that fair value gap here already at 9 o'clock, 9:30, whatever the fuck. We bounce out of it with a strong displacement. 10 o'clock, just get in the trade. There's no fair value gap for you to tap into. I mean, there was this order block. If you waited for the order block tap, that was a better entry. Boom. If you waited for the order block tap, you got a better entry. Nah, I mean. So yeah, so the silver bullet works in a sense, but you need to have a higher time frame like analysis, and you really only need like the 15-minute. Keep it cute. And again, we did get a little liquidity sweep here, and then we pushed, we inverted the gap with a strong candle close out of the gap on 15 minutes. That's your sign to like boom, get right in at 10 o'clock, take it to that liquidity point. Next New York session. Yeah, the hour, the 4-hour charts. I have to remember to like look at both the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Sometimes I just sit on the 4. Sometimes I just sit on the 1. But I think you can sit on the 1 hour, honestly, the best. And then after that, you go on the 4 for a target, even though you still got the same target up here. So yeah, it didn't quite sweep on ES, but it swept on NQ. So at 10 a.m., that was our sign to just get right in buys and take it for a little something. All right, this is next New York session, yes. That was our one yesterday. Boom. 10 a.m. 11 a.m. I mean, the liquidity points here are Asian low, London high, and then we do have a nice fair value gap here. And let's just see what happens at 10 o'clock. Okay, right at 10 o'clock, we're in this gap. Let's see. We don't have a fair value gap to inverse until way up here, which I don't like, but maybe that's the one we enter off of to go to sell side liquidity. Let's see how it reacts off this gap. Okay, it goes straight to sell side. Barely. There's another gap here. Now we inverse, which is weird because we did not sweep that sell side. We swept this one. This little one here, I guess. To go higher, so yeah. I thought maybe we'd bounce off of that one and go lower. We did not. But you did inverse this one, so that was just something you would either have to just take or you'd be scared and wait for it to inverse the second one. And you could have still took that trade actually. Either one. Just to the line. But then for people who weren't scared and got in early, 1 to 2. You can get out earlier. Let's see, does it hit? Boom, it hit for both. Hit for both. So this was a bullish gap to come out of on the 15-minute time frame. So good for buys. Yeah, swept this liquidity, but not this one. And then it reversed. Inverse value gap is a good reversal entry. If you wanted it, keep it cute. Keep it cute. 15-minute liquidity is all you really need. All right, let's go to the next New York session. You just get on the chart and back test. Like, do you want to trade a silver bullet? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't care. All right, 10 to 11. Liquidity here and here. We got data liquidity, which is giving 8:30 news. We do have a 15-minute value gap here. And we do have a bearish one here. That looks like we're about to be in. So let's see how this plays out. Could inverse, check out this data high, and then boom. Reverse. Sheesh. Still not 10 o'clock yet. Let's zoom out. Yeah, check out these equal highs up here. Alrighty. Well, there's a lot going on here. Inverse that one to go higher. There's a little gap beyond it here. See if it taps into it. Tapped. Candle closed out. I would get in there because I want to wait to see if it actually reacts. That's a good reaction. Candle close. Target whatever 1 to 2, which is honestly not. You can do 1 to 2. You could do opposing liquidity, which is here, is the first one from the morning, or the one we marked already on the 15-minute chart. If you want the lower one, let's see which one happens. Neither. Got a loss. So I was like, this was. We didn't really get. Well, we did get market structure shift down under here. But this just tapped into this gap here, clearly. So I said, it's not like the best like it used to be. It used to hit a lot. It really did. It used to hit a bunch. But now it's just like a lot of gaps in here to react off of. Like this one. This one was newer than this one. Usually you want the newer one. The one that happened first. I mean, the one that happened the latest, which that one did. It left a little gap. We candle closed out of it. And then came down to this gap, and then did reverse for the trade you really wanted. So that had been a loss. But let's see if you were smart enough to catch this trade, or you were patient enough to catch this trade. A 1 to 2 is there. So yeah, see what I'm saying? That's why I'm like just trading like just a silver bullet, just to this. It doesn't really work. I wish it could be this simple. I do. I really do. I wish we could just sit at 10 o'clock and just trade like this. Like trade the first fair value gap we see, but it just doesn't work often enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just look at higher time frame analysis like we did yesterday. But I just want to backtest different stuff because I feel like we do the same thing every day. Keep it spicy. Keep it spicy. Alright, inverse fair value gap. Can we catch it? Let's see. Buy at the candle close on this gap. 1 to 2. Can we get it? Got it. Got it that day. Got it that day. So it's kind of what, like, what are we, like 50%, 50-50, maybe 60%? Let's go to next New York session. Go to, but it does work the best with 15-minute liquidity and fair value gaps, I'd say. Because before I was just trading it, like people like to mark out just like whatever time frame you're on, like, oh, this liquidity here, this liquidity here, and just wait for one to be taken out. Like the first liquidity before 10 o'clock. I disagree. If it lines up with the 15-minute, then yes. But honestly, I like this one. And that one works out. Yeah, I like the Asian low. Let's see what happens. It's not 10 o'clock yet, so. Not 10 o'clock yet, and then it just keeps running higher. I mean, you do get an inverse fair value gap here, but I don't think it's gonna hold. I think we're just tapping back into this gap here. Personally, if you got in this trade, let's see how it plays out. Exactly, bouncing this gap in reverse. You did get an inverse fair value gap to the downside, but we knew. So see these days like this where it's like you either get in on this gap for buys if you're confident in your buys. We actually did tap into this one too. So it happens kind of fast. We did tap into this one. And it gave you enough time to get in this trade off of this long candle out. Let's see what the 1 hour is telling us. Jeez, yeah, we just ran up. I don't know if there was a target previously we ran up for. It's just all-time highs. I just gotta go to the daily or something. Yeah, we came up to this daily fair value gap, I guess. That's where we wanted to go to. That's why you just do a 1 to 2. 1 to 2 usually helps, and you don't really need to zoom out to see a profit target. Do a 1 to 2. We clearly got displacement straight through. It's not liquidity sweep. Displacement straight through. Another green candle for 10 o'clock. And then on the 3-minute, you did get a gap right there, like we did today. Tapped into it and ran up. So it's not always going to be. Now you can just play one or the other. You can just play continuations. You can just play the reversal if that makes it easier for you. Which most people do. Most people only just trade like liquidity sweep reversal at the silver bullet hour. Which is good if you're patient. For me, I'm not. All right, let's see what we got. We have a bunch of 15-minute gaps. We've already tapped out of this one. And then there's another one here, so many actually. We are making like a lower lows. So I don't know. Let's see how this plays out. We inverse the first one, but we're in the second one, so I wait a little longer. Okay, we do inverse this gap here now. I don't know if we want that though, but we do have a nice wick on the 15-minute out of the gap, which could be all you need. I don't know. Like I said, I don't trade the silver bullet, but let's see. I feel like it works better on Forex maybe. Well, let's see. That's a nice 1 or 2. Damn, stop this out. It went a good bit our way though. See if my stop loss was too tight. No. Continue lower. Which I had a feeling we were going to, because look how high we are. We have all this to rebalance. So this is why I'm like, I just would have waited for the inverse of the second gap. It is out of the silver bullet hour though. But still, I usually trade from 10 to like 1. It's still in my execution range. It is after 11 o'clock though. Let's see how much far lower it's gonna go though. I mean, not much. That would have sucked if you got in. Your stop loss was what, up here, or I don't know. That's not, yeah, that wasn't it either. So you just would have lost this day. It just does too much. Or if you just waited for the limit order. Because see, people trade this all differently, so that's why I'm showing all these ways people trade. Some people do just wait for the limit order to be tapped. Some people do wait for the first one to be inverse. Some people wait for a reversal out of a 15-minute for right gap. People just trade it all different ways. So I'm like, I don't know which way is the right way or the best way. Because we've seen one day the limit order works, the next day that one doesn't work, and then, but the limit order one today was the trade. If you waited for it to come up in here, had your bracket already set for a 1 to 2, you got the win. If you waited for the reversal out of this gap, So let's do another one. Next New York session. Or is it better if we start on the 1 hour and do like a top-down analysis from the 1 hour? Is that probably better? On the 1 hour we have boom, 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 and we are in a 1 hour gap here already. I don't know what that means. But let's see what that means for the 3 minute. 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock. I mean, it's a bearish one, so you'd hope it goes lower, but who knows? There is liquidity up here to be swept internally. And it just ran the fuck up. So, it's like, who knows what this market's gonna do. I mean, it's all the way up there now. Sheesh. Alrighty. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. I mean, there's a giant gap here we could inverse. Or just wait for it to either close out of it, below, or above. And then you didn't even get that because it finally closed below, way down here. And your take profit's probably down here. But maybe it'll come back and tap you in. Like this. Let's see if it goes lower after that. And then just trade sideways. So yikes. That's the end of the day, so do with that what you will. Maybe you got back in. Obviously, you'd want this liquidity to be taken out, but at that point, you probably just waited for, you know, one of the previous ones to be taken out, which they all kind of did. Or if you just do a 1 to 2, this is what most people do with a silver bullet. You did get your 1 to 2. It took a long time, but you did get it. So do with that what you will. I personally don't trade this. I usually like to see what the 10 a.m. candle is gonna do. This honestly would have took me out. Honestly, I would have been. Let's see what the 15-minute looked like. Maybe that helped. Yeah, 15-minute looked a little better. We did have this big gap in the 15-minute. Maybe that's what it was. 2. This. Still not a good trade though. The movement. This trade was better. Your sell trade. So next New York session. All right, previous day low. Seems to be the only liquidity. We already swept this one. Previous day high. Look at Asian session. That's beautiful. We already swept it, but that is lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's see what 10 a.m. holds. And I wish there was a strategy that's simple. I mean, a lot of people swear they have strategies that are simple, that aren't ICT concepts. But I just don't see them all the time. Like maybe EMA touches or whatever the fuck. Alright, we did sweep this liquidity internally, but what's the 15-minute showing us? There is a fair value gap here. A bearish one. We didn't quite hit it yet. Almost. Let's see, do we? Doing straight sideways. So there was no entry for you at all. No fair value gaps. Now, we did get a liquidity sweep. If you're an order block trader, it's a lot of mess in here, but I guess this could be your order block. Or if you want this small green candle here. I wouldn't have took none of that though, sorry to say. But if you did, I think it's gonna hit the sell side liquidity. Actually, I already did it right at 10 o'clock. Now I'm looking at it. There's the tiniest fair value gap here. Bearish one. If you wanted that. Candle closed out of it. At 10 was down here. Stop loss maybe above this candle. Take it to this low. It's a little messy. But if you wanted that order block tab after 11 o'clock, you still got it. And I think it's gonna hit it again. Boom. It went straight through at that time to the second one. If you waited for that. If you waited for that one. Stop loss above these highs. And then that low we marked out the 15-minute chart. Market maker sell. So not bad, but like I said, you just need some narrative. You need some story to the madness. But it can get a little crazy in here. That's not a bad trade. Boom. That's not a bad trade. Let's do another one. Next New York session. And I do this every night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. You want to join? Alright, we do a bunch of equal lows here. I'm going to mark out the lowest ones. We've already swept. We have a nice, I'm going to mark both of these because they're already basically touching each other. This is 2 for I guess, by the way, not 1. It's like 1, it's like 2 next to each other, so. $10, $11, now you do have this. We didn't quite hit it. We have this one here that we did hit. Candle close out of it is about to happen. So that's your trade. Stop loss above the high. This is a big gap, so let's see if we can get a 1 to 2 in the gap. And do. Let's go. Ooh, so close. So close. We got a 1 to 1.75 and then reverse out of the gap. Yeah, that sucks. Unless you do a stop loss tighter originally and then your 1 to 2 is smaller. Just depends. Then you would have got it, but yeah. So I would have closed somewhere in the middle of that trade though. If it starts reversing on me, I'm gonna close. So yeah, that's really it. I don't know if y'all like that. I don't really like the silver bullet as much. I do trade at 10 o'clock though, so that's why it kind of lines up with my strategy. But I like to have a little more je ne sais quoi going on. But I do enter in the 3 minutes, so that's why I'm like, I could see how people would just trade something simple. And then obviously if you had your limit order set and not wait for confirmation like I do, you're really confident in your buys, you know. I mean your sells, you would have got your 1 to 2. Me being scary cost me a few ticks that put me out of the 1 to 2 range. But yeah, I do this every night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Back test. Y'all should be back testing y'all strategies every night, wherever that looks like for you. If it's silver bullet, if it's trend lines, if it's EMA taps, whatever it is, you know, you need to be back testing that yourself. Do we get a 15-minute gap in here? No, we do not. You got a breaker, I guess, right here. But yeah, this is it, y'all. Back test every night. Do what you gotta do to get funded and, you know, trade and do your things and get better. Help your emotions, whatever you gotta do. But yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow night at same time tomorrow.